nation about a situation. You ought to take it all in and check it all out. You ought to take it all in and check it all out. Find out what it's all about. You ought to take it all in and check it all out. Let me tell you, you can create a boom with catchy information. You can shake up a whole damn nation. People, if you shout, but before you begin to grin about the success of your creation, you ought to take it all in and check it all out. You ought to take it all in and check it all out. Won't you find out what it's all about? You ought to take it all in and check it all out. You ought to take it all in, check it all out. You ought to take it all in and check it all out. You can make out a plan with aimless dedication. You can hang up a million slogans all over your house. But before you begin to put it into operation, before you man your station, you ought to take it all in and check it all out. Let me tell you. You ought to take it all in and check it all out. You gotta find out what it's all about. You ought to take it all in and check it all out. Let me tell you. You ought to take it all in and check it all out. You gotta find out what it's all about. You ought to take it all in and check it all out. One more time. You can fill up a room with idle conversation. You can shake up a whole damn nation with your mouth. But before you start to show your indignation about a situation, you ought to take it all in and check it all out. Be with it. You ought to take it all in and check it all out. Find out what it's all about. You ought to take it all in and check it all out. You ought to take it in and check it all out. Right now, let's have my co-host, Dhani. My son.
Hey, Pops, how you doing today? Cowboy Donnie's still good with me. But hey, yeah, thank you all for having me here.
Yeah, been trying to get Dhani here for a while, but he's busy and have stuff going on and moving and going through all kinds of changes. But I'm happy. I'm always. In fact, Dhani just moved right down the road from me now, which is really cool. In fact, I'm gonna talk to him today about helping me to do some of my backing tracks, play bass on some of my recordings for me.
That sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good time.
Now, I'm gonna tell you something. I've been watching the January 6th hearings and stuff, and
Okay.
I'm a little disappointed that more people are not watching it. I talked to my friends. They say, "Oh no, I haven't looked at it. I'm gonna do it."
Yeah, I've had the same thing. I've had a lot of folks say that they're not tuning in, and they don't know. Well, this thing is no real concrete, accusations have been levied against anyone in the nation yet. But a lot of really interesting stuff has been coming out, so I would definitely encourage everybody to be watching, man. I mean, a lot of people downplay it, but the actions of a president have not been so traitorous is really the only proper word in my opinion since Richard Nixon, since he had those people go into the the Democratic
Yeah.
the Democratic offices and plant bugs and gather information and then try to cover it up. I haven't seen anybody do anything in the seat of the presidency as crazy as that.
If you're going to talk about Richard Nixon and our former president, Nixon is about a 5, and the former president is about a 10. Because Nixon at least had enough love for America, for the country, that once he was caught, and he knew he was caught, that he had done wrong, he himself said he wanted to spare the country the trauma.
Yeah, but that was once he got caught.
But
so Richard Nixon, from what I know, his downfall was he had the Oval Office bugged so that he could, whatever conversations he would have with folks, he could re-listen to them and, take notes and kind of go over what he said. Not a bad tactic. That's something I like to do. Not bug, don't get me wrong, but I like to, record things. I like to take notes so I can go back and listen to things. But his downfall was, he had the CIA who was working with him destroy all the records. Obviously, everybody in his cabinets destroyed all his records, but they didn't think of the tapes, man, because they thought that was just his private stash and they wouldn't have access to it. But once the subpoenas were levied and the access to the tapes was given and he knew the jig was up, yeah, he did his whole peace out thing. And, we haven't quite got Trump as dead to rights as that, but it's possible. But the thing is, at the end of the day, since the 1800s, the War of 1812, there's never been a foreign, presence within the Capitol, and for the first time in the United States history, the Confederate flag was flown in the Capitol. All sorts of distasteful acts.
Nazi insignatures in the Capitol of the United States of America.
It's shameful that it happened, and I think a lot of people try to downplay it, but the truth will come out. And so it's important that you go out and watch these things because it's really something that could shape the future of our nation, the way that we respond to this kind of thing.
Yes.
We can't just allow for people to say anything. Freedom of speech is something that comes up when January 6th is up. Oh, so what if Donald Trump was, rousing? So what if Alex Jones was telling people to go after the folks? This is something else in the news. We've been hearing about that.
Oh, yeah.
Freedom of speech is something that is very important. The foundation of America. Freedom of the press, freedom of speech. But you can't just say anything. Right? You can't yell fire in a movie theater. If somebody gets injured, that's on you. You can't yell bomb on a plane because you're going to cause a panic. You're going to cause hysteria. And what we found out yesterday is you can't say that Sandy Hook was an inside job and the parents are paid actors, because you can incite violence against those people. Now, people will say, "Oh, if freedom of speech, there's something wrong with having a differing opinion." Opinions are fine, but when you state them as facts, and when you encourage people to try to find the truth that has no evidence, and you drop the names and the addresses of these people, and you say that they're actors and that they lost their child, that's a lie. These people in their communities, they weren't able to, get jobs. They weren't able to have safe, they had to move, a lot of them, and this is all right after a terrible thing had happened to all these elementary school kids. Yeah. And so, this Alex Jones thing, similar to this Donald Trump thing, freedom of speech is definitely a protected right, and it always should be, but you can't just say anything, right? I could say the earth is flat, but I can't say, go kill all the NASA people because they're lying to you. You know what I'm saying? There's a line. And there should be, and there always will be, and there always has been. And that's nothing that's changed.
The thing with these people like this Alex guy, they know that they're lying. He can't tell me. Know what he said? He said, I had a psychosis or something that caused me to say that. Now,
yeah, he said that for years.
Go home.
Yeah.
Go home. Okay. When when I look at what's going on in our country now, we are right on the cliff of losing our democracy, and I don't think Americans are very much aware of how close that we are. When you have people like Marjorie Taylor Green in front of a committee, and all she says is, I don't recall this, I don't remember this, I don't remember this, I don't recall it, I don't remember this. Why? You shouldn't run for any political office in any country in the world, much less America, because you can't remember anything.
Right.
If you can't remember anything, why should we put you in office? And then we got Michael Flynn, who takes the fifth, what they say 55 times or something, take the fifth during his interrogation. And they ask him questions trying to put him in the corner, get him to answer something. And they finally asked him, do you believe in the peaceful transfer of power between presidents in America? And he said, I take the fifth. Oof. When you take the fifth, they're saying, no, I don't believe in it.
Yeah, I mean, and technically a jury, they can't make assumptions one way or another when somebody pleads the fifth, but if you can't incriminate yourself and answer that, if you can't not incriminate yourself and answer that question at the same time, then we have a problem, man.
They're telling you right there that they are not working for America, for the free world, or anything else. They're telling you right there. When you got people like Tucker Carlson going over with that despot over in Hungary,
right?
You know, putting his head up his butt like Trump had his head up Putin's butt. Excuse me. And then and just like Trump invited Putin, who was a pariah in the whole world, and
went to visit
the North Korean guy, who was a pariah in the whole world, and gave them an international stage that they shouldn't have had.
There's a weird, interesting correlation between presidents and who they associate themselves with.
Can I say one thing?
If you're gonna go, yeah.
The Nazi, and he is a Nazi, he makes no bones about it. His whole platform,
white Christian,
is Nazi. And these CPAC, this right-wing organization, brought him to America. In fact, this was a worse thing than having Putin and North Korea here. Brought him here and had him speak at their back, and they were applauding all of his racist rhetoric and all of his stuff, applauding it. And this is America, and you got a Nazi on the stage.
The Hungarian Prime Minister.
I think that's going a little bit too far. Unfortunately, we got to realize that there's a effort to dismantle this thing we call the free world. And we were warned about it before Donald Trump was elected. Our intelligence community warned us that the Russians and the Iranians, about all of these people would be using the internet to divide us racially, and then we have a president that comes on, and I voted for him, came on started doing the first time, and started doing exactly what our intelligence thing warned us. And as far as the big lie is concerned, this man started saying before the Democrats had even elected, found their candidate.
Right.
He said before they even found that candidate, the only way I can lose this election is if it's rigged,
if it's stolen from me.
He started to saying that then, and his method is like all of the autocrats. Tell a lie over and over and over again, and a certain amount of the population is, shall we say, weak enough to just start being like a parrot and saying it too. Mm-hmm. Tell a lie long enough, it becomes the truth. That's like somebody saying that they have a tournament for poker players in Las Vegas, and they're going to eliminate the players and blah blah blah. And one player walks into the casino before the game, 6 months before the game starts, and lets everybody know,
if I don't win,
the only way I can lose this poker game is if it is stolen.
Right.
And he tells that over and over again, over and over again. 6 months later, he goes in, and before the game, while he's playing the game, before the game is over, he says it. He keeps saying it over and over again. The only way I lose this is if blah 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 blah. So he loses, and all of his followers are going, "Oh, it was stolen! It was stolen!" The man set you up for that way before.
Now let me address something here, because I know a certain percentage of the population still believes this. Now, let's say it's true, right? Let's say in all these states separated, there were all these conspiracies to stuff the ballots and to get rid of ballots. And not only that, all those people across all those states, but there's also all these committees that went and investigated it, and they didn't find anything because they didn't want to, because it was all a big conspiracy cover. You know how many hundreds or how many thousands of people would have to be involved in that? And in the age of the technology, everyone's got a HD video camera right in their pocket at all times.
You couldn't keep it a secret.
You couldn't keep it a secret, man. Every claim where, I found a bunch of ballots that said Trump in the trash can, everything that was looked into, there was zero evidence found. So you're talking about hundreds or thousands of people across a bunch of states, all throughout the United States, all working together, and nobody blew any sort of credible whistle. You know what I'm saying? So I often believe in Occam's razor. Occam's razor states generally the explanation for something that makes the most sense is generally the right one, right? And it doesn't make sense to me that all these people would come together to steal this election. All these people would investigate this and find nothing, and nobody would have anything to say, could bring any shred of evidence that would stand up to even the most basic scrutiny. Somebody somewhere would say something. And if that's not the case, then it just doesn't make sense to me, you know? And I'm sure it doesn't make sense to a lot of folks if you look at it objectively.
And you know what? One of the strange things is, like, the people who believe the big lie. How can you believe it? The people who went looking for this evidence were his people.
Right.
And believe me, they were frothing at their mouth. They couldn't wait to expose this thing, and there was nothing there. Right. I had a friend of mine tell me some months ago, I'm going to show you proof. And I said, okay. So I go to his house. He puts this thing on the TV that some far-right station has set up there. And he says, look at this. And what it was a video of a post office, and people, you know how the video's all speeded up?
Uh-huh.
People are going like this and all this stuff. He says, you see that window go over there? You see that window over there? And all this stuff is going. And I'm going, wait a minute, my friend.
What am I looking at?
Let me ask you a question. Do you think this is the way that film was done? Like the Keystone Cops?
Right.
I said, no, it was done in regular time. If you want to find something, why are they giving you a video that's running around like this? Why don't they slow it down in regular time and let you see?
Right.
Because there's nothing there to see. And you are so weak of mind enough that you look at this and you don't see, why is this going like that? Why can't I see? You don't even question yourself. And that's the problem. People are not questioning.
Yes. If you're getting your information from one source, or if you're not, looking into the things that folks tell you, you're missing a whole side of the picture, man. I think I've said this before, but there was one time I was out at a protest, just observing, seeing what was going on, and I seen this interaction between this person in a car and these people that were, in the protest, right? Now they're yelling back and forth, blah blah blah. Somebody comes by and hits the car with a skateboard. That shouldn't have happened, right? Then the person who was in the car puts it in drive, runs over two people. It shouldn't have happened, of course, right? Then they drove over towards the police. The police pulled them out at gunpoint, arrest them. That probably should have happened. And then all the protesters that were around descended on the car and messed it up. So none of that should have happened, but it's a natural progression. You understand. You see why these things happen. You know what I'm saying? Now, I saw this all happen real time. I go online, and I find a video of the whole thing. And I was right there. I was like, wow, okay. And then I see on a news source, the same video, same perspective, same camera, same time. I see just all these people standing on a car and beating up. The same video. And I see the headline, protesters random acts of violence against people's personal property. All right. And then I see a clip from the same video of just this lady puts it in a drive and runs these people over. Even though in the video you see people hitting the car, which again she probably shouldn't have done. But counter protesters violently stampeding with the car through traffic. You know what I'm saying? And the moral is, you can find the full 3-minute video, But if you just go to one news source, you're just going to see the clip
Yes.
of everyone descending on this car with no context. If you just go to another news source, you're just going to see this clip of this lady running folks over. And again, none of these things should have happened, but if you see the whole video, you understand it's a natural progression of events, right? It's not just some random act of violence, but you would only find that if you look for it. And a lot of people just don't care enough to look for it, you know? Now, we live in the age of information, but we live in the age of an oversaturation of information. If I look up, why are all Democrats evil, I'm going to find a bunch of stuff that says they're evil. If I look up why all Republicans are evil, I'm going to see a bunch of stuff that says that too. And so there's so much information out there. You have to look through multiple different ways. You have to search the positive, you have to search the negative, you have to read articles that say both, search the pro, search the against, otherwise you're just going to see a bunch of people that are saying the same things. And that's what social media is really good at as well. It's an echo chamber. You follow people with similar thoughts, they repost things of other people that have similar thoughts, and all of a sudden you think the whole nation's thinking this way, but in reality it's 30 people all talking to each other, and there's another 220 million out there that are saying different stuff.
Well, there's a lot of money made off of hate.
That's true.
A lot of money made off of negativity.
The war is the number one driving factor of our economy.
Human beings are attracted to the negative side of life, like moths are to a flame. I learned very early in my life, an example. Somebody starts a rumor in a neighborhood. Jack Bruce molested a little kid. And once the neighborhood gets that piece of gossip, they take it and they run with it to the ends of the earth. They will tell every human being that they meet for weeks about that. But then if the person comes back and says, oh, you know what, that was really not true. Mm-hmm. The evidence came out. He wasn't even anywhere near that child. He was on the East Coast on a business visit. He couldn't have done this.
Yeah.
All of those people who went out of their way to spread this negative thing about this gentleman to all of their friends, not one of them are going to go back and retract it. They're not going to use the same. They're not. The thing about the people who are being lied to is you got to realize that you are being lied to. There was a joke that somebody told me. They said, listen, my son, I was worried about my son, about how he was going to turn out. You see, the thing about Donald Trump is he lies, and if you catch him in a lie, he doesn't care. He just keeps lying anyway.
Right.
So they said that I wanted my son to avoid all of the stuff that's going on in the world. So I asked my priest for help. Mm-hmm. And my priest said, I'm going to give your son a test. So when his son was asleep, he went in the room, he placed a fifth of Southern Comfort on the table, a Bible, and $100 bill. The child, the teenager wakes up, he looks over, there's this stuff on this thing. So he takes the money, puts it in his pocket, and he takes the liquor and drinks it.
Right.
And so the gentleman went and told the priest what his son did. He said, well, my son drank the liquor and he put the money in his pocket. And the priest said, well, if he did that, then that tells me one thing. Your son's going to be a politician. and then the father said, yes, but not only did he do that, but after I caught him red-handed, he stood, looked me right in my eyes, and lied. And the preacher said, you know what? Your son's not only going to be a politician, he's going to be Donald Trump. You know?
That's funny, man.
Because that is what he does. I sat and I listened to his, when he was making his speeches, mm-hmm. and not one time did I not jump up 6 or 7 times and go, that's a lie. That's a lie.
Right.
You know what I mean? I was always doing it with him. I've never done it with a president before in my life. Never done it with a president before. But every time he got in front of the thing and started talking, I would jump up and say, that's a lie, that's a lie, that's a lie.
So here's another issue that we have going on with freedom of speech. You know what I'm saying? Is, again, people say, oh, you can say anything. It's a free country. But there used to be consequences for saying shit that's wrong.
Yes.
Excuse my language. But there used to be consequences for saying stuff that was incorrect. Like, you go on to, you read a newspaper back in the, I don't know what a newspaper is. I've heard about them. Just kidding. But, you read a newspaper, and if they say, I don't know, Martin Luther King just turned 60 today, and in reality he just turned 59, they'd put out a retraction, they'd say, oh, we made a mistake, and if they did that too many times, you're going to start buying another newspaper, now, Yeah. Nowadays, we have news networks on our TV that don't identify as news networks. They call themselves entertainment shows, you know what I'm saying? We have people on Facebook, they can say whatever they want, whenever they want, and as long as it's crazy and people like it and share it and post it and blah, 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 they're going to get likes. And then there was a trend of people, of social media sites marking things as misinformation. And everybody was all up in arms about that. Freedom of speech, why are they targeting? And to be fair, most social media networks are ran in California, so a lot of people think, oh, they're democratic, this is MSM, tools, but you can't just say random stuff. You can't say COVID's the flu because it spreads a lot more quickly than the flu. You can't say, oh, vaccines, they have microchips in them because they're going to track where you're going, because people might believe that, And if you don't have anything substantiating your claim, you can't just say random stuff because you feel like it. You know what I mean? So people confuse the freedom of speech with freedom to just say whatever you want. That's not the same thing. We could sit here and we could talk about our standing president, and we could say we don't believe in what he says, or we could talk about our Supreme Court and say they're doing some crazy stuff, or we could talk about our country and we don't have any repercussions. Nobody does. But as soon as you start endangering people by spreading false claims about healthcare, about saying that people were pretending to be parents at a school and now they have trouble getting a job, or they're getting death threats and getting ran out of town, and when you say things that affect people, if I just yell fire in a movie theater and somebody gets trampled trying to get out of there, I'm going to be responsible for that. Freedom of speech does not mean freedom of responsibilities. You know what I'm saying? And we're seeing that with the Alex Jones case, and we're seeing that with this January 6th trial. And I think it's very important that you go and read it, and you go and read about it, you go and watch it, because this is history, man. And it's very easy for that to have been 2 years ago now, and to think it's not a big deal, and it's a person passed, but but this was a group of people goaded by a few folks that were in political power to go and force somebody to ratify a claim that wasn't true. They were saying, hey, the election was stolen, go get Mike Pence and hang him up or whatever, saying all kinds of crazy stuff, and people were encouraging it. And so if you incite a riot, that's not freedom of speech, you know what I'm saying? If you're telling people, go down there and drag them out, that's not freedom of speech, So please pay attention to what's going on. Look in a little further, read both sides, and don't take our word for it. We're just two guys. But if you're listening to this, go look into the January 6th thing and understand that you can still say what you want, but you can't do that at the expense of other people's lives and livelihoods and property and such. All right? That's just my 2 cents. What do you think about that, Bob?
Let's lighten things up here a little bit.
That sounds good to me.
Okay, here we go. Macy Gray. Does anybody remember her?
I was born in 1997, man.
Here we go. Game changes and fears. Where do we go from here? When will it stop? I believe that fate has brought us here. We should be together, baby, but we're not. I played up, but I'm dreaming of you. I'll keep my cool, but I'm freezing. I try to say goodbye and I choke. I try to walk away and I stumble. I try to hide it, it's clear. My world crumbles when you are not here. Try to say goodbye and I choke. I try to walk away and I stumble. I try to hide it, it's clear. My world crumbles when you are not here. I may appear to be free, but I'm just a prisoner, baby, of your love. I played off, but I'm dreaming of you. I'll keep my cool, but I'm freezing. I try to say goodbye and I choke. I try to walk away and I stumble. I try to hide it, it's clear. My world crumbles when you are not here. Goodbye and I choke. I try to walk away and I stumble. I try to hide it, it's clear. My world crumbles when you are not here. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh baby, my world crumbles when you are not here.
Hey, that's pretty good, Pops. You added that to the repertoire recently?
That I did that. That's one of these songs that I did at Peter's studio.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
I always liked her voice. Makes it great. Listen, Donnie. Pennies from Heaven.
All right. That sounds like a good one to go out on, but
No, we're not going out right now.
after Pennies from Heaven, we might. But
Yeah, okay.
before we do all that, I want to say, make sure these elections are coming up here in California. And I know we got a lot of blue folks here, but it's still important to go out and vote. Wherever you are in the country, whatever your opinions are. As long as you're reading up on the things and you make your own choices, you're getting your own information, go out and vote. It's important, all right? There's 320 million people in this country, and a lot of folks think, oh, but mine's just a drop in the pond. But if everybody thought like that, then, no, we wouldn't get a lot done. And it seems like an insignificant thing, but it is our social duty, and if everybody gets together, then you can make a change, Be the change that you want to see in the world. Also, Dad, you got any dates coming up? Any
Right now I'm still in Monterey every first Saturday of the month. I have some other things that I'm gonna start branching out now, because I need to get out and circulate myself a little more. So I'm working on some other things. But every second Saturday of the month at Elroy's Bonton Lighthouse Smokehouse in Monterey. Come on down, 7 to 10. That's about it. I will be letting people know about these other things that are going to be opening up. I'm going to be doing a lot more stuff, really. Really, I'm all hyped up. I'm going to get back out there for
there we go. But in the meantime, let's hear about those pennies, huh?
Yeah. Here's a song that I've always loved to hear Dhani sing. This song was composed in 1926. It was actually the first song I ever played in public.
This is what would be considered oldie, I think they call it.
Let me give you a little more.
1926? All right. Every time a razor rains pennies from heaven, Don't you know each cloud contains? Oh no.
Pennies
from heaven.
You'll find your fortune.
You'll find your fortune falling
A little louder.
all over town. Be sure that your umbrella is upside down.
Send
Send them out a package of
sunshine.
hey, sunshine and flowers. I know it. If you want the things you love, you must have showers. So when you hear it thunder, don't run under a tree. There'll be some pennies from heaven for you and me. Tell them, Pops. One time. Every time it rains, pennies from heaven. Don't you know each cloud contains pennies from heaven. You'll find your fortune falling all over town. Be sure that your umbrella is upside down.
I wish I was a jazz singer.
And put up a package of, what's in the package, Pops? Sunshine and flowers. If you want the things you love, you must have showers. So when you hear it, the thunder, don't run under a tree. There'll be pennies from heaven for you, you and me. One more time, there'll be pennies from heaven for you and me. Yeah, that was pretty good.
Wonderful, wonderful. So once again, we really want to stress voting. If the common man does not get out and vote, we're going to lose our country. Our country's not going to last another
Couple generations.
It's just not. The people who want to destroy America are eating away at us right now. I can't believe that they are electing big lie people who are going to end up being in control of the counting of the votes.
Let me put it this way. Generally, trends and demographics are true across the country. For a lot of Republican folks, there's good folks amongst them, but they're generally older folks are generally white, not all, but generally. They're generally of a higher socioeconomic class, and they say a lot of folks socially liberal but fiscally conservative. But either way, you're voting for folks. But those are folks that often have time and the resources, and they go out and vote very consistently. But this is a minority of the population. Most people are Democrats, and that those demographics, again, generally minorities, generally younger folks, generally not people of the highest socioeconomic class. And of course, these are broad generalizations, but I say all this to say the Republicans are going to get out and vote 100%.
Oh, yes.
And so we need to take responsibility of our country, and we need to go out and make sure our voice is heard. And the best way to do that, besides standing and screaming it out the rooftops, which is also important, is to use your vote, use your voice in that way. And even if you think, oh, in my county or oh, in my state, everybody else is going to think like me, or oh, I don't know enough, take the time and read up and go out there. And for the midterms, for the, the presidential elections, for the Senate and the House, and anything you can, make sure that you read up on it, know about the issues, and go out and vote, man. It's your responsibility. And if you want the country to be heading in a direction, then you got to be participating in some way. And that's the best way to do it. It really is.
Yeah, my thing is vote. I don't care. I'm not going to tell you who to vote for. Vote Republican or vote Democrat, but vote.
And read. Make your own decisions.
Yes. Become educated about what's really going on, because I don't want to frighten anybody. But I don't see our country last. Let me put it this way. I have to say this. The far right, the fanatics. Okay, there's fanatics on the far left too, and I'm equally critical of them. However, the ones on the far left aren't dangerous for the continuation of the country.
Right.
We have to stop overlooking what's going on here. Remember, before World War II, the Jews were warned of what the Nazis were going to do. They were warned over and over and over again, but they were complacent. Oh, we're Germans, we were born here, blah, blah, blah. Everything is going to be wonderful. I see that same complacency here in America right now. People are trying to steal elections. People are trying to totally make a mockery of our system of government and law. And people who should be getting angry about it and standing up, they're just really not paying attention.
That's the truth.
And when you don't pay attention, there are people working underneath the thing every day. They don't stop.
Trying to subvert our democracy.
Yes, they are not going to stop. The only thing that will stop them is if all of America goes and vote. And I swear, I can't stress that enough. If you don't vote, you will lose your country. I'm telling you that right now. And the die has been cast. As Maya Angelou said, you have to believe people when they show you who they are.
That is the truth. Believe people when they show you who they are. But hey, we appreciate, that's our time for today, right there. We appreciate y'all listening in, tuning in. We're going to try to put out one a week. And we're going to try to keep it light. But we got to talk about what's going on in the world. And it's important that everyone pays attention. And hey, it keeps us honest. So we appreciate y'all listening to us. And please like the page. Please follow the channel. Please share with your friends. And if you got something you agree with, if you got something you disagree with, reach out, message us, leave a comment. But we appreciate everyone listening, and we'll see you next time, all right?
Okay, Dhani, I'm going to do one more song. I know you got to go.
Yeah, well, hey, isn't that a lucky treat? You get one more from your dad. You don't got to listen to me. Yeah. Thank you all so much for coming.
If you can hang around, do.
All right.
Okay, you know what I'm going to do before I leave, you guys? Little Walter. Anybody remember the name Little Walter? I recently did a show for a lady. She was 96 years old, and she said, "Alligator, you play old music." And I said, "Yes." She says, "How old can you go?" And I go, "How old are you?" She says, 80, 90 or whatever she was. And I said, "I'll play a song that you were about 6 years old when you heard it." So I played this thing called "Coming Round the Mountain." And I often do this with songs. Of course, this is not the regular "Coming Around the Mountain." This is Alligator style. This is my own music. Now you all remember this. Coming around the mountain when she comes. Coming round the mountain, coming round the mountain, coming round the mountain. But I listened to it and I was thinking about Little Walter. So after I did this for the lady, I was listening to the song and I was going, I wonder if I could do this. So I just decided to do it. My baby don't stand no cheating, my baby. My baby don't stand no cheating, my baby. My baby don't stand no cheating. All she stands is midnight creeping, my babe. Cool little mama, my babe. My baby, I know she loves me, my baby. Hey! My baby, I know she loves me, my baby. My baby, I know she loves me. All she wanna do is just a kiss and hug me, my babe. Cool little mama, my babe. My baby don't stand no fooling, my babe. My baby don't stand no fooling, my babe. My baby don't stand no fooling. When she's hot, there ain't no cooling, my babe. Cool little mama, my babe. My baby don't stand no fooling, my babe. My baby don't stand no fooling, my babe. My baby don't stand no fooling. When she's hot, there ain't no cooling, my babe. Bye, y'all. Cool little mama, my baby. Alligator in alignment. I will see you in 7 to 10 days, whether you like it or not. God bless America. God bless our troops. God bless each and every one of you. Keep you happy. Keep you smiling. Like I say, vote. Vote Republican. Vote Democrat. Not telling you who to vote. Vote. My baby don't stand no fooling, my babe. God bless each and every one of you. Alligator, out, out, out.